right now. And we're live.
We are live.
We're live right now.
Thursdays. Andrew, tell them why we're live on Thursdays at 8:30 now.
All right. So what we're doing on Thursdays is a little bit different than what we're doing on Tuesdays. So Tuesdays is going to be focused more on our local angler segment. And then Thursday is going to go on our rival angler segment. And with this rival angler segment, we're going to discuss tournament talk. You know, we're going to see who's basically doing what they do against every other buddy that's competing. I mean, Joe, you compete in tournaments. Dave,
Yeah.
you do too, obviously. I haven't competed in a tournament, and
Good thing.
I don't know.
Thing.
It's been a minute.
You got to catch some fish.
Listen.
Ain't that right, Dave? No. And I do a little some grassroots, some little tin can tournaments is what I call them. Nothing to the level that Big Dave does, and he's out there whacking them, killing them himself. And like you said, Andrew, the rival angler segment here is going to be all about that type of fishing. You know, the tournament fishing, the who's beating who, and what's getting it done on what part of Florida that you're in.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're going to focus on here on Thursdays at 8:30.
Thursdays at 8:30. Yeah. No, we've got some exciting guests lined up.
Big names.
And you know, with local angler, our focus is really Florida, and it will be for a long time. But in terms of bringing in rival angler, there's a tournament series called the Xtreme. Oh, what's up, David? David Harper says, "What's up, guys?" The Xtreme Bass Series, and Mike Blocher is going to join us here in just a second. We'll bring him in a minute. But Dave, tell me a little bit about your experience with the Xtreme Bass Series.
Grassroots, the largest in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
And
yes,
man, I've been with Mike tournament angler since 2005. So I mean, I've been a loyal, and I've had the honor of winning one of his championships as well, which is pretty cool because you season long, 9 tournaments, and you put your time in, and Mike has a destination for us, and you win a brand new boat, man, in the championship. I mean, full rigged, $40,000-$50,000. I mean, where do you go fish tournament trail, qualify for a championship for a brand new boat on, lakes all over the state of Florida? I was blessed that year in 2010 on Lake Seminole, but he has them on Okeechobee, he has them on St. John's, the Harris Chain,
Boga.
It's just all the big major lakes that will host 100+ boat field for the championship. It's pretty impressive. Usually running 10 different divisions throughout the whole state of Florida. He's give or take ballpark in that range, and it's pretty cool, man. We all come together at the end of the year, guys from North Florida, Central Florida, South Florida. It's definitely it's a good thing, man. And I've been a director as well, and Mike's good people. He's been in the industry for a long time, and knows a lot of people, and runs one heck of a trail. Like I said, it's the largest grassroots trail in the state of Florida, and has been. Big numbers, big money. It's awesome. He puts a hell of a show on.
Well, that's what's up. So I guess without further ado, let's get him in here.
Bring him on.
Yeah, bring him on.
The man of the hour.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mike Blocher. How you doing, man?
Excellent. How are you guys?
We're doing good. We're doing
Thanks
good.
for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Pleasure's ours. What was that, Dave?
AKA Blocher.
There you go.
All of us.
Dave,
that's AKA.
We're going to struggle with Dave a little bit tonight. He's in the sticks.
In a shed in the sticks.
Yeah, in a shed in the sticks. It'll be all right, though. You can just nod and laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got his boat in the background.
Next to it.
So Mike, tell us about the Xtreme Bass Series. Tell us where it originated from. Like, what did it all root from for you, and what made you want to put something like this together?
Well, I wish I could sort of take full credit for it, but
Okay.
There was another tournament organization prior that I went to work for, and they had some financial issues, and they had some backers that were behind them, and they ended up pretty much dissolving that tournament series. And I went to work for that group of people. And I don't know if you remember X tools, but they were floating pliers and floating scales that cut braid. And long story short, I was their marketing director. And in the interim, we always wanted to bring back these tournaments. So we started the tournament series back through X tools. And they eventually sold to Shakespeare. And as part of my severance package, they sold me the entire tournament series and everything for a drop in the bucket as part of my severance. And then I went ahead and started, but it was a similar format with a similar group. But I ran tournaments for a year, driving a 26-foot trailer, knowing that it was going to take a long time because people associated with me with that trail for a little bit until they realized that I was not the money guy behind it. I didn't make the decisions. So for a whole year, I drove around and set up for a tournament, knowing 2 or 3 boats were going to come, and thanked them for coming, and go to the next month. And we never held a tournament for a year. The first year I did it. And then I was talking to one of my partners at the time who's recently passed away. And I said, we're going to have to give a boat away to get this gorilla off our back and the stigma of what this trail similar used to be. And we gave away a 18-foot Stratus. The first year we decided to guarantee a boat. Had a 150 Johnson on the back. The whole rig cost me like $12,000 to give away at the time.
Nice.
And we had 26 teams that qualified, or I'm sorry, 29 teams that qualified for the championship. And we had 26 teams go. And we went all the way up to Lake Seminole. So it was a 1 in 26 shot at a boat. And we gave it away. We did what we said we were going to do.
Woo.
And the next year we had 99 teams. And the next year we had 117 teams. And the next year we had 150 teams. And it's just sort of, maintained for almost 15, 16 years. The economy crashed in 2009 and 10. We didn't give a boat away 1 or 2 years there. Half our field was in construction and had their own businesses. And there was guys that had to sell their boats and couldn't afford to fish like they did. So our fields got cut in half instantly. And everybody that was there hung in. And then we decided to go back and try to give that boat away and try to build it back up when the economy recovered. And it's been pretty smooth sailing since. I wish I could take credit for it, but I've got a ton of directors and a ton of people behind the back door that without those guys, one guy can't do it all. There's no way.
Right.
So I'm only as good as the people that I surround myself with. And I've got Brian Stahl, who does a little bit of everything. John Catlin does the web work. Melissa Brown, Glenn Brown's widow, I became really good friends with her when I ran the Glenn Brown Memorial Tournament a couple of years ago. She does a lot of my computer work on the big tournaments now.
Okay.
So it's just it's family. Every time I think about it, I don't want to do it anymore. If I eliminate it out of my life, it's so many laughs throughout the year and so many great times that I can't picture not being a part of it. And so I'm just blessed to be around as long as we have. And we try to be in this game. You can't make everybody happy, but we just try to be as fair as we can to everyone and just do what we say we're going to do. And that's really been the only secret sauce is if you say you're going to do this, just do it. It might not be the greatest choice for you at that point, but as long as you stand your rules and stand your game,
yeah,
the guys respect that.
No, integrity goes a long way.
It does.
Integrity goes a really long way. So just a quick interjection. You're familiar with the IFA, right?
Yes, sir.
David Harper commented on Facebook and said, we need to get you to do boats one day and then kayaks the next because we're lacking the kayak bass tournaments.
You know, I can't tell you that we haven't talked about it for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I need to have somebody be a director to take that part over because I just don't have enough time between the specialty events that we run.
Yeah.
Events that I've got now. We've toyed with it a million times. So tell Derek, call me. If he wants to be a director, I'll tell him exactly what to do. We get it off the ground. Because it is something that we've toyed with several times. You know.
Well, I was on the phone.
We've kicked the redfish game around again too. Now that the redfish stuff is, I think Ken's
really
down right now.
Yeah. No, that would be pretty awesome. That would be pretty awesome. So I definitely want to come back to that eventually. I think that we need to have a conversation about that because I was on the phone with Dwayne Wally today, the owner of Tourney X, or it was yesterday.
I think it was yesterday.
Yesterday. And, I was talking to him about wanting to get a tournament series started down here because, you've got the Kayak Anglers of Florida and then you've got a lot of room elsewhere. There's especially in the bass fishing portion of it.
Travel. A couple of the ones that have been successful. It's amazing the amount of miles those guys put in to fish those tournaments with kayaks.
Oh, for a $2,000 first place prize, even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spend $2,000 to travel and a hotel and everything else, or campground to win just their money back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're just as dedicated. I've had the pleasure of fishing a while back, and they're just as dedicated.
Oh yeah, it's serious business for them.
Yeah, it's a huge camaraderie field, and I'm sure you've experienced that along the way. I mean, as you mentioned, what keeps you coming back is the people you meet, the memories you make, and
it's not the tournaments; it's the Thursday night meetings and the Friday and Saturday nights after the events when everybody's in the cabins cooking out, and just to give you an idea, my Swanee River guys, that group of boys they all travel together. My director manages some property up there. So like the 2 weeks prior to the event, they have pits. They catch crappie all week long. They kill a bunch of doe. They have a huge menu board and everybody's in charge of something. And there's 19 teams that travel together. And then at night, they break out the fryers, the igloo cooler, everything's out there. And they just have big soirees the entire time they're there. And that's each division has their own little clique, and then they're all buddies, and they get to see each other once a year, and it's been real special over the years, But that's the kind of stuff I'd really miss a lot if I
awesome.
Did it. Yeah,
that's awesome. So like understanding the term, grassroots being used and things like that. I mean, how big do you want this thing to get, or is it at its capacity? Do you see it growing beyond this, or being a birth to something bigger?
We had an Alabama, a couple of divisions in Alabama a few years ago. And, I just need somebody like me in 10 different states in order for it to grow. I mean, the amount of bodies of water that we cover now, I can't see us, the only thing that would maybe make it grow is if second place was a truck. To me, if you start adding the prize pool, the anglers find a way to qualify.
Right.
So,
right.
I don't know that I can do any more divisions that we already don't do enough to cover the whole state pretty much.
Well, you got 12, right? There's
right.
Yeah.
Top to bottom. For sure.
Yeah. And we try to stay off the water that we're going to have the championship. We try not to have a division on it that year, just to give a perceived value, hey, it's going to be more of a level playing field.
Yeah, no home field type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we at maximum capacity for what we are currently doing? And there's so much more to fish now than there was back in 2007, 8, 9.
Yeah.
How successful clubs, then they start getting arguing, and then they break up. Now they're two different clubs. There's over 200 and something clubs in Florida alone. So you've got the clubs, you've got the ABAs nowadays. Roland Martin's got a great series out there. You got every Tuesday nighter, Thursday nighter. So I'm feeling blessed that we're holding numbers like we did back in 2007, 8, 9, when there wasn't that many things to fish. You know, there was Cracker Boys, an Accent, Xtreme, and a Bay Area, just a couple clubs, and that was it. And so to hold the numbers that we've hold with the amount of things there are to fish now, you know, again, I keep saying I'm blessed, but I am. I'm pretty blessed.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. What would you say is a memorable moment that sticks out? You know, let's go early on and then a little bit more recent.
I'm going to have to say that my wife had never been to one of my events before.
Okay.
And we were at Camp Mac, and I can't remember the year. It was when Jerry Driscoll and Buck Durant's won the boat. And there was a gentleman that fished our tarpon division. His name was Scott Lindstam. And Scott suffered, he had an artificial ear from cancer that took his ear. He was riddled with cancer. He had it in his spinal cord. He'd fished with me for years. He would go around. He was sponsored by one of the sunscreen companies, and he'd go around to the high schools and speak about how important it was for sunscreen. And he'd take his prosthesis ear around and pass around.
Oh, man.
You know, but this guy was about ready to lose the war with cancer. And one of the guys from Tarpon said, hey, at that year we gave 10 $500 random drawings off the stage. And one of the guys came up, Jason Doolittle, and he said, I said, hey, I want to give Scott 500. I don't want to draw a boat number. I just want to give it to him. And he's like, I'll announce it for you. I said, okay. So I'm sitting there waiting for him. We did the 9 giveaways. We're down at the 10th. Scott doesn't know we're going to call him on stage. And Jason chickens out. He's like, I can't get up there and do it. So he puts me right on the spot. And I just tell the guys, hey, we're not going to draw one, this last one. I'm going to award it to Scott. Scott's been battling cancer. We tell the story. There's 150, there's 127 boats, so there's almost 300 rednecks in the audience. There's not a dry eye. We're all crying like babies. And we pay Scott up, give him the money. The place goes crazy. And then Jerry Driscoll's partner, Buck Durant, is battling cancer. And they win the boat by like less than a half a pound. And it was just a nail biter. Jerry's wife rushes the stage, almost knocks him over. And that was intense. My wife, she kept the books during the tournament. And afterwards she goes, now I know why you do it. I never understood, but now I do. So it was awesome. It was a great tournament.
That's touching, man.
Yeah, it was pretty powerful, you know. And then the most recent, I'd say the most recent one would be the last championship at Camp Mac, because I mentioned the Swanee River guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, they've been a hardcore group from the start, and they want me to bring a championship up there so bad. And they're willing to feed the guys. They're willing to get money from the city. They're willing to do whatever it can. Please bring one up here to the Swanee River. But there's no hotels. There's, you know, the guys don't want to go up there and fish for 12 pounds of fish. I'm scared to death to try it. And the Swanee River guys, they've led day one in my championship, I don't know how many years. But then they drink all night long, and they're barely able to stand on day 2. So they cannot put 2 days together no matter what. And this year, Donnie, the directors, they won wire to wire on the Camp Mac. And I was just so happy that finally somebody from the Swanee River won, and now they can quit badgering me because they did win off the Swanee River. But those guys are great fishermen. There's always 2 or 3 of their teams in the top 10. They always take home a ton of the championship money. But to see somebody from that group that has traveled, they don't ever complain. They bring a huge group wherever we go. And I was really glad to see somebody from that division win one because it was well deserved.
That's
So
awesome.
those are probably my two favorite moments in doing this over the years.
I thought for sure you'd say it was the moment that you realized Dave was just so invested in your series.
No, actually.
No, that's awesome, man. I love the idea of camaraderie and everybody coming together.
Dave's
No, Dave wants,
Dan, there is. Just ask Dan Blanchard.
Yeah, let's ask him.
No, Dave put in his time. Dave was a
Way
red
to go there,
director. He fished the fresh and the salt, and that was a special tournament too. You know, I mean, that was a body of water that those guys, if they would have never been in the top 10 in anybody's mind that they were going to win that tournament, you know, and they just took care of business. They're good fishermen. When Dave's got his head right, he just can't lose one early because if he loses a big fish early, it ruins him.
yeah.
He's got once he can stay focused, he's hard. When he's dialed in, he's a good angler. He's hard to beat.
Yeah. No, he doesn't like being told no by anything. Yeah. No. I tell him no all the time.
So, Mike, I have a question for you.
So I got one of the 20 river rats sitting here beside me.
I was going to say, is that Logger?
Good evening, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old Prince of Bass Assassin.
That's right.
Prince of Bass Assassin.
Another great people.
I got one of those 20 rats now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great group of guys.
Great
up there.
people.
Really are.
No, that's what's up.
Yeah.
They just got done with they do 2 huge tournaments a year up there.
Okay.
A cancer awareness and an autism awareness. And that place, that little town raised over $100,000 in one day last weekend, or 2 weekends ago. Unbelievable that what those people, those farmers.
Oh.
It was close.
Yeah, we're struggling with them.
120
bucks.
That's an amazing event for sure.
No, that's awesome.
That's a lot of money.
He said
too.
almost 120.
Something like that. It was well over 100,000 they raised in one day. It was crazy.
Yeah. Donnie told me it was over 100. He didn't have the final figure yet.
That's awesome. That's amazing, man.
Joe, what you got?
It's really, really special to
Oh, well, my question was, if somebody wants to get involved in one of these series that you hold, what do they need to do? I mean, what do you need to get involved in the Xtreme Bass Series?
Really, you just got to have a partner. It's a team event, and you can look on the website, pick a division, and just show up that morning with cash in your pocket. The directors have all the paperwork. They'll get you set up, and it's really pretty simple.
Good. Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What you've got 12 divisions running. How often is there an event
Once a month for each division. So like Kissimmee will run the second Sunday of every month for 9 months. Istapogo will run the second Saturday for every month for 9 months. So they all try to pick the same weekend so the guys can schedule their other clubs and stuff that they fish around it.
That's a smart move. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Right.
And I mean, our Kissimmee's been the second Sunday of the month for 15 years, so the guys get real accustomed to the divisions that we have every year that we don't change up to pretty much be that same weekend all the time.
No, that's what's up. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a product that you have that you are very familiar with, and Dave has one, and I want to know more about it. And it is called the Catch Commander.
Yeah.
Tell me about this. It's almost like it's a collective scale, right? Like a cumulative scale of sorts, or is that?
It's a lot different than it was when I first saw it.
Okay.
I met Rob at ICAST a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
And the original model was like a trigger that was up at the top of the handle. There was a 1-inch screen, and everything that it was Bluetooth capable with an app for your phone. And he's got the patent for that, and it's really overkill. So when I met him, I had some experience working with X Tools. I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
And X Tools was the first culling scale on the market, and they were way ahead of their time. And Rob and I hit it off. We started collaborating a little bit. I introduced him to a couple guys that worked at X Tools, and we totally threw that one away, and we redid the entire unit. It's very similar looking to the X Tools as far as shape.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just got a ton of technology in it. It's we feel like we've been a #1 seller in Tackle Warehouse. November was a year, so a year and a half. We still maintain #1 in that category.
Nice.
It's got 3 modes. It's just a simple scale if you just want to weigh it. It's got the cull mode where you can set it up for 1 to 10 fish. If you're a crappie tournament, you can set up for 7 fish, 8 fish to cull, and it will store all your weights. And every time you bring one that's lighter or heavier, it'll tell you exactly which one to take from your creel, and it automatically culls for you. And then we've got what we call the accumulative. So Major League Fishing is real popular right now, where guys can count every fish that they catch.
Right.
If you put it in that mode, it'll keep a running total of your weight of fish, and it will track up to 99 fish that you catch and keep your running weight. So a lot of clubs are starting to pick it up now because they're going to run 2 or 3 Major League Fishing style events for their club. And so they're all getting them so they can do that accumulatively. And so it's despite shipping woes and tariffs that we weren't expecting and all that good stuff, well, we did miss Christmas this year because our order was stuck in Miami for 18 weeks. Yeah, but we got more product in stock. We're working on a new cull beam to go with it, a cull clip set. I think it's going to be the best on the market, just like the scale. And,
nice.
Listen, so, I seen it was waterproof, and I was sold. You don't know how much money I've wasted on scales that are waterproof.
Right.
They're not.
It's got sealed electronics. It's pretty amazing.
Very
it will get a little moisture in it every once in a while, but very seldom. I mean, if you use the same one for 8 hours a day for like 7 trade shows, it stays totally submerged underwater in the booth the whole time. And that scale still works like it was brand new out of the package.
Wow.
So, yeah, I checked the website out, Mike, and there's a lot of great technology on it. So I'm definitely picking one up. Probably
we eventually got rid of the Bluetooth part of it because, 1, a lot of tournaments you're not allowed to be on your cell phone.
Right.
And 2, it's too cumbersome. So
yeah, I don't want to look at my phone and have a 9-pounder hanging off a scale. You know what I mean? It's
right.
It's very cumbersome. And
now the fact that we have the patent for the scale talking to the electronics, there's a really big value in that.
Absolutely.
So the big play to this eventually is for it to interact with your Lowrance, your power pole units, your Hummingbird. So now when you catch it, it locks in that location. It's on your electronics. It's calculating your total weight. And it can be on your 12-inch in the front of the boat. It can be in your 12-inch in the dash. That's really the long-term play. It's going to take us a little bit to get there. But it's too valuable of a patent to let sit there and not utilize. So that's one of the things that is our long-term play on it.
That is absolutely amazing. That's an awesome idea.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see where you guys take that. Because like you said, that patent's super valuable. And that's an awesome idea. I didn't even think about that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that come to first.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Hey, Dave, I'm not as dumb as you think I am.
I'm looking for the
see here. When is the next?
Cull leashes.
When is the next event coming up? you mentioned like second Sunday or second Saturday, things like that. Is there a region that's coming up this?
Every weekend we have tournaments. One of our divisions is going off on a Saturday, and most of the time Sunday. So we'll have multiple tournaments on a Saturday. We have one in Istapoga, and we'll have one on Swanee because those guys are so far apart that it doesn't really matter.
Right on. And you mentioned these special events. So I'm looking at, I see the Glenn Brown Memorial. I see the Rattle Trap Classic.
I think there's a
Blocher Extreme Championship, and then the Snag Proof Open. Tell me about those, the Rattle Trap and the Snag Proof.
The Rattle Trap tournament
Goes for tots as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I retired this year from the Rattle Trap. It was in February. That was my last one. I'm not going back up there for the Snag Proof either. But I've run them for the last 10 years, and you can only use their baits. It's a very level playing field that way. In the first Rattle Trap tournament, we had 26 boats, and this last one we had 318. So we've watched that thing explode over the years, and it was very hard to walk away because I feel like I'm part of that baby. You know, it's been an amazing run, but my life has changed. I've got my in-laws that have moved in with us now. Grandma's got a little bit of dementia. My son has special needs, and he's older now. He's 16. So it's harder to get away like that for 5-6 days. And I'm older too. That drive kills me now. You know, when I was 40, it was no big deal.
Yeah.
You know, now I take a little extra time to get there, a little extra time to get home. And then it still takes me 3 days to recover. So,
yeah. I don't miss traveling for that stuff.
I miss those events. I'm gonna miss the guys up there because I became really good friends with a bunch of guys in Alabama over the years of running those events. And Snag Proof was recently bought by American Bait Works, and those guys are class acts. They own Halo rods, Net Bait. They have several brands: Scumfrog,
yeah,
Freedom Tackle, and I would really be anxious to see what they end up doing with it because they cut no corners. You know, that's a first-class organization up there, and they're going to do some amazing stuff with it.
Yeah. No, I could see that. Freedom Tackle is a really interesting company. That's another topic for another day. They've got a lot of cool modular setups with their bait, like their jig heads. They've got different weights that you can twist hooks on, whatever hook you want.
Right.
I used to use those a long time ago. It's pretty cool. But, you know, kind of going back to this, you know, I'm excited to see what happens, and I want to know, you know, basically I want to see if we can get you back on here in either maybe a month or two and talk about what's coming up. When is the championship?
It's normally the first weekend in November.
First weekend in November?
Going back to hopefully Lake Seminole, where Dave cut that big trophy and took that boat. And,
there you go.
The city up there was decimated with the storm.
It's right on my wall, man.
And they're just now opening the cabins in the state parks. Some of the campgrounds are still shut down. So normally it takes a lot less time to get approval to go up there. It's really an easier place to arrange.
Okay.
But we're caught in the bureaucracy of between the state parks and timing and all that kind of stuff. So mid to end May, we'll be able to make the announcement of where we're going, where we're going to be launching, where the host hotels will be, and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Well, what I would like to do is, you know, when you do announce where that's at, you know, Dave, myself, maybe Joe, if Dave's not fishing it or fishing something along those lines, you know, I would like to come up and at least try to cover it and get some media coverage for you.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
I normally get a few cabins or some rooms up there from the city as part of the deal, and Alex Sturgill and the guys that did our video are going to be up there, and you guys will probably be more than welcome to come on up, stay.
Okay.
Awesome.
With us.
Awesome. We put Andrew on the floor. Me and Dave will get the nice beds.
Yo, you know how many nights I slept in a sleeping bag or on an air mattress? I ain't worried about it. I got my Queen Air mattress right over there somewhere.
DJ and I, we rent a house. Dude, DJ and I, we rent a house up there, right on the water. We got like 3 teams that stay with us. That's how you do it. Fire in the back, fire pit. Yeah, man. That's how you do it right there.
That sounds
money.
sounds intense. Sounds like a good time though, Dave. Sounds like a great.
No. $100. Hey, $100 a night. $100 a night for a house.
And
3 teams, 6 guys up in that joker, man. A lot of drinking, fun.
Yeah.
I don't like to do that stuff anymore because the last time I went somewhere like that and I drank, we tried to get raccoons to eat out of beards. So, like, it's just I don't know.
So shave my beard before hanging out with Andrew and Dave.
Yeah, no, there will be some weird stuff that goes down. It gets weird.
Jeez.
Dave knows.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Mike,
What happens?
We're gonna cut Dave off real quick. I'm gonna mute. Yeah, Dave, you're muted. We're done with you right now. No, man. No, Mike. I appreciate you coming on, and it's nice to put a face to a name, and I'm excited to see what happens with it and see where it goes and how much it continues to grow within the state. And I can only imagine. I'm hoping that with everything opening back up in Florida, that we see a lot more engagement and interaction within the industry, even more than it was, because Florida really didn't suffer as far as fishing went. There was a lot of held back just because, but we really didn't suffer other than supply and demand.
Yeah, we kind of figured it out through all that.
We had to shut some of our divisions down because of the parks. They shut the parks down a little bit, but it was another month. We might have had a hard time making up all the missed time, but we get in last year.
No. So, well, guys, Joe, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I do have one more thing. Am I reading this correctly? Gary, Mimmy, and Rick Hellmuth, 3664 on Poga.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
those.
If I'm not mistaken, Dave was butthurt because that was supposed to be his. That was supposed to be his 36 pounds.
Yeah, wasn't it, or something like that? Or
Well,
yeah, I remember talking to him about this.
I'm not sure how long you guys have known Dave, but he either had the winning fish on or should have had the winning fish on, or he won. But let me tell you, Gary Mimmy and his old partner, James Dyer, back in the day, there was 3 or 4 months in a row, they were over 30, 32, 33 pounds.
that's a sick bag on Poga.
Poga was
filthy.
It was terrible. It was bad. Yeah, you could wreck them back then. But
yeah.
Gary, I talked to him. I said, "Well, welcome back, my friend." And he said, "I stopped fishing to win." And he's like, "I started doing all these other things." And he's like, "I just picked my jig up and we went to town like I used to." And he absolutely wrecked them, obviously. But when Gary's on a streak, he's a great angler too. He's like Dave. Man. When he gets dialed in, he's great on Kissimmee. He's great on Istapoga. He's really good on Okeechobee. He's hard to beat.
Yeah, he's really tough to beat. He's a good stick. Good friend of mine. Gary's
one of the 2-time winners of our championship as well.
Oh, nice.
He's one of the only 2-time winners. We've got.
Are there any 3-time winners?
Yes.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. Dare I ask? Are there any 4-time winners?
Jeremy Smith and Jim Folks.
Oh yes, yeah.
They've won 3 out of the last 5.
Yeah,
that is savage.
Yeah, those guys are beasts.
Here, Andrew. What the heck?
They take a week off before the championship. They take 2 boats up there. Jim does his own thing with his strengths. Jeremy goes and fishes his strengths. And they just create a milk run of all their strengths, and they treat it like a business. And those guys have been insane. They've won 3 out of the last 5. They came in second in the St. Johns River, which they've never won over there. They had a 30-something pound second day and almost won 4 out of the last 5. Yeah, those guys have been on a tear. They're bad for business.
St. John's River is tough, man.
You're about ready to go into the Hall of Fame, and I'm not going to let you fish with us anymore. You're bad for business.
Jeez,
No, man. You can't do that to Jimmy, man. You can't do that to Jimmy. We like to take our shots at the champ, man.
Hey, bass fishing's been
they
doing
won
just
several
fine with
laser
Kevin
bass
Van Dam.
boats powered by Mercury Marine, several of them. So, yep.
Bass fishing's been doing just fine with Kevin Van Dam, so
Yeah.
I think we'll be all right.
We all have a little competitive bone in us. If there's no competition, we ain't about it.
Wow, that's killer, man. That is insane.
I'm
still stuck on 36 pounds. I mean, that's a 7-pound average, more than a 7-pound average.
Yeah.
He's had one 40-pound sack that we weighed in, not this year, but it was on Kissimmee. Matt Hinman and Andrew Lee, I think he fished with. They had over 40 pounds. And Matt is strong 3 months out of the year. He's hard to beat when he's got him dialed in. He's a good angler. And just for fun games, the largest bass ever weighed in an extreme event was Don Schaefer. He's the owner of the bait company. What's Don's bait company? Big Dog Baits. And it was on Lake Hernando. Yeah, Lake Hernando. He made a cast. His partner catches a fish. He threw it, set his rod down real quick, got the net, netted his partner's fish. And then when he reeled his line in, the line was under the boat on the other side. It was a 13.45. And Don's a big guy, and he held that fish out like this, and that thing was huge. Its eyes looked like 2 chunks of coal. It was
unreal.
Yeah. So
holy smokes.
That was the biggest fish ever weighed in an extreme team event.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's goals right there, man. That's goals. I'm still trying to break that 10. 9.7, I'm stuck there. I can't get past it. Very close.
Real close.
Oh, you need to hang out with Dave more, I guess.
No, I need to hang out with Gary and Rick and hit Logan. That's in my backyard.
Hey,
good choice.
Look, I had the visual on that sack. Their smallest fish was 6 pounds. 6 pounds was the smallest fish in that sack.
No, that's just crazy.
Dude, I looked at Gary and I said, "Oh, thanks for putting up." He ain't fished all day here, and here he comes. Drops 36. Yep, I'm just going to show up. Him and Rick Hellmuth.
Him and Rick became really good friends a few classics ago, and we used to have our championship in September, and then the PFL's 2 days got pushed back, so we went and settled it the first week in November. And Rick Hellmuth and his dad Sam used to fish with us for years. And they'd always come to the classic. They always had a great time. But that first week in November, they go to Colorado and hunt every year, mule deer, all this stuff. And they started inviting Gary to come. So Gary, he fishes off and on throughout the year, but he hasn't really fished with us like he used to for the last couple of years because he's going hunting that first weekend in November when our championship is every year. Well, they've shut that place down right now up in Colorado. So he's now scrambling to get his 8 tournaments in because he's done well he's won a championship. He actually won the one that we had 26 teams and he won the boat. That Stratus we talked about earlier. Him and Rowdy Illerby are the guys that won that boat. That first one we ever gave away.
Dang it, man.
Yeah.
Here he is freaking with 36 pounds. That's awesome. And I don't even think, was second place even close to that day? No, like 19 or something, if I'm not mistaken.
20.
The year he won the
20.
boat in Seminole,
20.
he had 7 pounds on day one. And then he found a stretch of hydrilla with spinner baits on day 2 and had 27 or 28 pounds to come back and win it on day 2. But he only had 6 pounds on day 1. 6 or 7 pounds. Yeah.
That's the beauty of fishing. You never know, man. It just takes a few bites to get you back in the game. And
yeah.
He had planned on leaving at 10 or 11 o'clock to make the long drive home. And he just took the right stretch and ended up winning the whole thing.
All it takes is that one bite sometimes.
No, it can be a game of ounces for sure.
It's crazy.
what was it, Douglas? I've got a buddy that was fishing Douglas, and he was in like 140th place out of 220 boats with just over 10 pounds, and first place only had 16. So it's like the spread on that is ridiculous. One kicker fish, it all changes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But
the second tournament that Gary won was on Okeechobee, and that year on Okeechobee at the championship, we had something ridiculous like 3 or 4 fish over 10 weighed in that tournament, but it was like 16 fish over 8 pounds and 20-something fish over 6 pounds. It was the numbers were crazy.
I've got it written
down somewhere, but that was a stupid championship, and everybody. I felt like I weighed in a 5 or 6 pounder for every team because they were so close and bunched together that I was weighing 6 pounders like a Pez dispenser. It was nuts.
Everybody's coming back to the scales.
6 pounder for you.
Everybody's coming off the boat back to the scales thinking they got pocket aces.
Yeah, there's a lot of people going back to the boat shaking their head. Man, but it was a shootout.
Wow, man.
That's Okeechobee. When Okeechobee's on it, that's what you get, you know.
I used to run the Okatani team trail up there, and there was several tournaments where 30 pounds did not cash a check.
It wasn't what you needed. Yeah.
No, they were not cashing checks.
Crazy.
And Fitton, and I can't remember his partner's name, but they had like 32, 33 pounds one time, and first, second, third were 36, 37, 30. And he's like, I can't believe I got 33 pounds and I'm walking empty-handed in my truck. I mean, unbelievable. But, yeah, when that lake was right a few years ago, it was crazy. Yeah, crazy.
That's just insane. No. Well, guys, it is just about time to end this episode. And I'm still stuck on the 36 pounds because I think that's phenomenal average, especially for right now, and to be that far ahead.
Especially for Istapoga. Istapoga's been fishing tough.
Yeah. That the fact that it was Poga just blew my freaking mind. I mean, I went out there and I broke 15, 5 fish. So I don't know. That's awesome.
I could go out there and probably not break 5. Okay.
You might not even catch a fish on Poga, man. That's a tough lake.
Listen, I'll catch a fish.
You might not even catch a fish. 5 is overshooting it, bro.
I can catch a fish. I can catch at least one.
Here's another fun fact.
Dave, shut up.
Okay.
Dave, shut up.
We used to do a big bass of the year, which we still do. We used to do a big bag of the year. And Lake Talquin, which is up in the Panhandle near Tallahassee, so it's a world-renowned crappie lake. But it's a phenomenal bass fishery. And those guys never got into the side pots. And for like 3 years in a row, they would have won Big Bass of the Year and Big Bag of the Year. It was always 30-plus pounds up there. They'd always have 2 or 3 really big sacks. And they would have won it numerous times. And our Big Bass of the Year last year paid out like $3,800.
Oh, my God.
So there was a lot of guys out there that were kicking themselves in the rear for 3 years in a row because they didn't get into the side pots. No.
Always do the side.
Yeah, there was that year I had a 10.68 and was leading it, and a guy in Talcon had caught one that was like 12.4, I think it was, but wasn't in the side pot. And then I ended up getting dipped over in the Harris chain by an 11-pounder.
Oh, ounces, man, ounces.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Well, guys, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah,
We'll get you back on here and definitely close to your championship.
Nope, no problem. Anything I can do, just let me know.
For sure, for sure. Well,
That's good, bud. We appreciate
it,
you.
Block.
All right, guys.
Yeah, man. No, we'll see you next time.
See you later.
All right, guys. Well, with that being said, Dave, what do we got to do to get you into a better scenario where you can have service? So delayed.
Y'all do a Thursday podcast.
Oh, as he laughs, that's funny.
No, guys, it's been fun. Let's wrap it up and Tuesday Tuesday for for local angler, we're gonna have Nicholas Beltran. We're gonna talk exotics, South Florida fishing.
And I'm gonna talk trash. I got trash.
You gonna talk trash? That ain't
Yeah,
right.
dude. The battle of Nick and Joe is going on. Man. Like it's already
Yeah, you had
solidified.
plenty
We
of trash to
haven't
talk
talked about
tonight. You and your little puppy.
it yet.
Broadcast from McDonald's, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
That'll work.
So that's the advice.
And there's food there. You're good,
Jackson is a good
With a
sleeper.
Happy Meal.
Yes, sir.
man.
With Happy Meal.
Get you a little toy. Make sure you get the girl toy.
I don't know. Listen, Joe, you got some fans in the audience. I'm just letting you know.
Hey, man, what can I say? Oh, speaking of heavyweights, last night I had a big bass tournament and I won first place. Guess what the weight was of the big bass?
Yo, man, what's up with your boy, dude? You're gonna have my haircut and my beard before long, bro.
Man, I hope I look like you, Dave, when I'm that old.
I'm saying.
Beautiful, Dave.
I just hope I have that confidence when I'm that old. He don't care.
I just want to catch fish like Dave right now. I don't even want to be old. I just want to catch fish like Dave catches fish.
Nope.
Oh man. Well,
Oh,
guys,
man.
make sure you tune in Tuesday at 8:30. We'll get Nicholas Beltran. My money is on Joe. He said, "What is this?" Oh man, that's reverse psychology. He's trying to hype you up so you go in swinging too hard.
I know, but I'm also very confident in my peacock skills. It's going to be a fun little battle. It'll be a fun battle, I promise.
So what you're saying is you're a peacock. We just got to let you fly.
Just let me fly. Just let me flutter, dude. Let me spread my little tail feathers and get on them.
We got people wanting soap, and I told them in the comments we'll do a giveaway for soap next Tuesday. I don't know what this has become.
The soap is insane. The soap is taking off and it's consuming these lives. But hey, that's what we're here for, man. The soap's everywhere. There's soaps at Magic Kingdom. It's an Animal Kingdom right now for Earth Day.
Right.
I mean, it's everywhere. You can go get it. It's just sitting out there across the state of Florida. You can literally just find it. I mean,
yes.
But we'll bring up soap for all of our soap.
I want to meet the person that buys a ticket just to go in there to get the soap and just leave. I want to be that person.
$78 freaking bar soap. All you gotta do is tune in Tuesday at 8:30. We'll send you some free ones if you answer.
Yeah, no, I got somebody on Tuesday. We'll get them on Tuesday, but
we need our bedtimes too. We got to get out of here, man.
Yeah, no, I don't even know what's going on. Is Dave in a gas station? No, Dave is in the sticks.
And we believe in
the sticks, and he's got one 48-inch light above his head.
And loggers running around there somewhere thinking of crazy bait ideas.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is
dodging me, man.
Don't show people that. That's my lure. That's my favorite lure. Stop. How do I mute him? How do I block him, Dave? Oh, man, I love the logger toad. So many big fish caught on that thing, man.
No, but guys, Tuesday, 8:30. I'll see everybody then. I'm out. I'm done.
Me too. I'm going to bed. Peace.
Dave's had a long day too. He needs a beauty sleep.
Yeah, please, for the love of God, get your beauty sleep, Dave.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all next time.